This is happy hour. So it is to be happy. If you need to drink your favorite drink. I just had a big glass of iced tea. And in the afternoons here in Texas, it seems like it's getting hotter during the day. It's 107 now in where I live. So that means in Dallas, just an hour away, it's probably 108, 109 with all the concrete. So it's amazing how the weather, we usually don't get this hot for this many days, but hey, Mother Nature, she gives us different things, that is for sure. All right. Let's read some of these chats. Dar says, finally figuring out how to get into this event and not stressing out about it. You know what? New things sometimes is stressful. But we are working on getting everything of mine pulled off of Eventbrite and over to my own platform. And the team is hoping to get it all done over the weekend. So we'll see. But if not, we'll just team up together and figure out what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. And now my camera is blurry and I have no idea why. So, Joe, you haven't missed anything. We have been putting in what has been your favorite thing that you have accomplished today or have done today or have experienced today? Something happy and joyous. Happy and joyous.
Want me to put it in the chat?
Yes, please. All right, Anne, are you working on your happy thing to put in the chat or am I missing it? Chatting via Messenger with LaDonna. Thank you so much, Anne. You're so joyous. So joyous. Helen, finishing my PowerPoint presentation 2 minutes before we go live. Awesome. Woo, Joe, 2 more swimwear orders. Yay for you. Yay for you. Sharon, do we have you in the house? Hopefully Sharon can hear us and she will get hers put in the chat. But what I want to do now is, first of all, please tell me, did the video work in the waiting room?
Yes.
Was there a video playing in the waiting room?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. Something I'm trying out to see, hey, does it liven people up? Does it get them pumped up? Does it get them happy? All right, so hopefully Sharon will be on quickly with us, but now I want to welcome Helen Snell. She is a writer, a publisher. She's a mom. She is something else. She even works in the yard. I have been seeing her Facebook post and she's been doing some real work in the yard too, it seems like, Helen. So everyone give a clap for Helen. She is our guest speaker. She is going to tell us how story writing helps us in our business world. That we need to know. So Helen, the floor is all yours. Let's go.
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
I just got, oh. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So congratulations, first of all, LaDonna, on your first happy hour. And I'm gonna kind of pick on those words for a little bit. I don't want you to fret, but we're gonna talk about happy hour. So here we are meeting for this thing called happy hour. And when you hear that, that's going to evoke some kind of response in you, right? So when you think of happy hour, you might think of, who knows, some experience where, maybe you had a little bit too much to drink with some friends. You might think of maybe some really vulnerable, intimate conversations you've had with a best girlfriend over a glass of wine. You might think of maybe just a sigh of relief at the end of your day because you like to enjoy a drink while you're making dinner. Or it could make you pause. Maybe you don't drink. Maybe you have some negative experience with alcohol, or maybe you have some negative experience with someone else with alcohol. So I used to kind of have this wild and free relationship with alcohol when I was younger. And then my marriage actually fell apart when my husband turned to alcohol to handle his stress, his sick and eventually dying mother, our special needs daughter. I tried for many years to help him. I even quit drinking myself. So we are all on our own journey, and he had to deal with his problem in his own time and in his own way. But I share this story with you because I want to share the example of finding and speaking your story to the right clients. So words have power. I am an expert storyteller and communication coach. I'm an international speaker and best-selling author. I write marketing materials. I ghostwrite blogs and books for clients, but one of my favorite things is teaching storytelling to entrepreneurs. I love that Donna uses the idea of happy hour and some of her other handles like Throwback Thursday and Monday Mojo. They are full of the zest for life that she exudes in everything she does. And she will attract clients and collaborators with that same fun spirit. So happy hour might not appeal to everyone, but this is no criticism of LaDonna using that phrase. It will appeal to the right people. Not all people, the right people. So not everyone is your customer. And you don't want to deal with people where you have to watch your words, do you? I know a few entrepreneurs with real foul mouths who share that candidly as part of their personal branding. It isn't for me, but it works for them. And it works for those who follow them. So I'm going to have to just move the menu there so that I can move my slides along. There we go. So, sorry, I should have been on that slide already talking about happy hour. Here we are. So storytelling brings this authentic personal approach to your marketing that doesn't really feel like marketing. That's one of the things I like about it. So for those of you who are tired of pushy marketing and not wanting to play in that field, storytelling is certainly for you. And in this online world, it replaces that smile and a handshake that we used to be able to have at in-person meetings. We were just talking about that so much is online now. So story creates a human connection and it generates empathy. And that's how you become closer to your client through distance, through social media, through networking, different things like that, where you're not up close and personal. So I want to ask you, have you ever dictated a message into your phone and then read it back and realized how differently you speak as to how you write? So writing tends to be a little more flat. It's hard to pause. It's harder to add, voice intonations. It's hard to add body language. So we can see why people really get lost with text on a page, whether it's in an email or a blog or a social media post. But what if you could add some of that dynamic back to your words? What if your website, your biography, your social media pages could project who you really are and connect with them with emotion? You can, with the power of storytelling. So it's easy when you understand the formula. So all stories, whether it is a novel or a movie or sales copy, and let's remember, as an entrepreneur, everything that you write is sales copy. When it's done well, follows a pattern, it's effective. So I found my voice in my first entrepreneurial business when I discovered my story. I wasn't born an entrepreneur. I wasn't dreaming of my own corporation with my view from the 50th floor. I didn't even have a lemonade stand as a kid. As a matter of fact, I come from a very long line of happily employed people. I became an entrepreneur out of necessity. I found myself separated with 3 children who were all still in school. I was working a part-time admin job that worked around their school schedule. And my youngest daughter, who has special needs, left me in a position where daycare and even thinking about her life beyond school was going to need a different approach. So I didn't have more time. So I ventured into network marketing. That idea of trading time for money was a reality for me. But suddenly I found myself as one of thousands of people trying to get your attention with that same little bottle of product. My story became about the small steps I was taking to gain back my health and make a difference to the health of the planet. Then I was talking to this place from my heart. I wasn't selling a product. I was sharing a dream, a challenge. I was sharing a story, and others were buying it. They were connecting with that same journey that I was on. So I highly recommend network marketing as an income stream. I learned so much about myself and about business, and I still continue to work on sharing that dream of a healthy you and a healthy planet. But that story grew into a blog, that grew into webinars, and then several speaking opportunities. And eventually it led into a business where I now help others find their story and connect naturally to their marketing. All of what I do has that storytelling spin. So let's talk about business stories. What you want to share in networking and on social media that will draw the right people to you is the story that you need to create. So who are you? Who really are you? That's what people buy. They don't buy your product. They buy the feeling that you leave them with. They buy the problem that you help them solve. They buy the confidence you give them. They buy the shared journey. Stories give people a look at the person behind the business because clients really do buy you. Relationships are the new sales strategy. So clients can buy how you serve them. They can buy who you guide them to become. So a big business like Nike or Apple has this huge budget for marketing campaigns that sell you a feeling. Nike makes you feel like you're capable. They make you feel like you care about your health and fitness, and you'll dedicate time and effort to just go out there and just do it. Apple makes you feel like they understand your frustrations with technology. They don't get viruses on their computers. They make functionality really simple. And somehow you're in this elite class if you happen to own a MacBook. They connect on emotion. That's why your biography or your story needs to have some personalization as a solopreneur. So without that big budget, like Nike and Apple, you have to sell yourself and the emotional connection that you have with your client. So you want to connect on values. So those personal values you have should align with your business values. Do you value things like family, integrity? Do you want to be esteemed? Do you want a following? Are you a generous person? Are you connected with charity? Do you care about the environment or animals? What are things that are your base values in your life? You also want to connect on your personality. So are you serious and thoughtful? Are you introverted? Are you a little bit wild, bold? Are you a rule follower or a risk taker? That's who you want to share. And you also want to connect on your experiences. Notice I didn't say experience because this is not a resume. This is actually taking some of those things maybe from your resume that you might want to pull forward from past work experience or education that really brings value to what you do. But you want to think of things like, did you live overseas? Were you an army brat? Did you decide on university versus life experience? How do those things play out for you? And, what do you want to leave out that maybe you learned along the way? So these things are going to resonate with clients with a similar mindset. So my posts often include things like dogs, nature, humor, because that's who I am. I want to work with people who actually like me. Don't you? Simon Sinek, author of Start With Your Why, says people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. So I offer something called a story biography in my work. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm right on the right slide here. Nope, I'm still back here. Sorry. Okay. So the story biography really helps people understand how they are their business. The interview often generates some aha moments when I interview clients, and it can become the basis for your 30-second introduction, maybe hashtags that you would then use on social media, or common themes that you're going to use in your business marketing and your storytelling. So a boundary might be something that you don't want to share. So this could be some personal information. I know people, for example, who don't share photos of their children online. That's a really good boundary, but it should also be in alignment with your client. So maybe you are a local garage owner, an auto mechanic, and maybe you have a waiting room with toys and even a change table in the bathroom. So maybe you should allude to your family somehow in your advertising so that you're actually connecting with that demographic of people with families who are going to come in and use your garage. You know, you don't have to share photos, you don't have to identify them by name, but sharing stories about family are going to make connections with those families who are going to use your services. So maybe you're a health coach and you have a weakness for potato chips. That's okay to share because that shows vulnerability. And I'm going to guarantee that every single one of your clients is going to have some vulnerability of their own. So when we're talking about our story, the next thing we want to think about is communication. So we have to look at how you communicate your story. It's all about finding that intersection between your story and your client's story and where they connect. I often tell people when they are thinking of their client to think of having a drink, coffee or Coke, or maybe a tequila, just with one person, someone who gets you. So someone who needs what you have, they understand you. That's who your stories should be geared to. So you'll notice that I got back to that happy hour idea about drinking, having a cup of coffee or a tequila or a Coke. So I use those 3 different drink suggestions when I'm talking to people about that idea of sitting down with that client, because it does attract different types of people. It's common language for me to use things like that because through my communication coach certification, I understand very well that everyone hears messaging differently. They hear with a set of values, the same as they speak with a set of values. So you want to give that person that you're having that drink with, give them a name, give them a family pet, any details that can bring them to life, and then write everything that you do to that person. Don't be surprised if you find several similarities between that person and yourself, because often your client is just a few steps behind where you were on your journey. I find this for me such a fun exercise to think of talking to this person because I consider myself to be quite humorous. And so I write everything to somebody who's similar to myself. And so I'm actually laughing at myself the whole time. So the next thing regarding communication, I mentioned humor, I mentioned animals and the planet, my special needs daughter. So these things are all important to me because I actually have a nurturing personality and communication style. There are 4 types of communication styles through an assessment tool called BANK. It's a brilliant system because it allows you to understand your communication style, but also understand how you can better communicate with others who don't receive information the same way you do, like happy hour. I use this effectively to write in the voice of my client, but also to expand their language so that they can reach all 4 communication styles to broaden their audience. That's 300 times the amount of people. So BANK stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurture, Knowledge. So Blueprint is someone who values process, rules, credentials, responsibility. Action is one that aligns with a lot of entrepreneurs because it's about people who value freedom and opportunity, excitement and fun. The nurture type, as I said, is my first code, values authenticity, relationships, teamwork, ethics, and the knowledge type values logic, self-mastery, expertise, and science. So I remember many years ago with my church, I took this similar assessment tool and I had clung to this thing about intelligence for my whole life. I was good in school. I learned quickly. I followed the adage of, go to school, get good grades, be a success. It wasn't the bank system, but it was a system that had colors and it represented your area of gifting and strength. And I wanted so much to be green in this system because that was the color for intelligence. And I was blue. I was actually angry because I felt like I had not accomplished what I wanted. But after some mature reflection, when the event was over, I discovered that that really was who I was in my work. In my work experience, I always wanted to resolve conflict. I wanted to determine systems and solutions to problems, and I was applying the very strong nurture and knowledge parts of my brain. Now I am proudly a yellow nurture personality type. So this is a much more robust system behind all of these things. We aren't just one type, but there's primarily one that stand out. One of the things that's really interesting to me with Bank is that can also show you where you'll find your clients online. So the ways people communicate dictate how and where they want to receive information. So somebody who listens to podcasts is probably a knowledge seeker. Somebody who is on YouTube might be somebody, again, who values knowledge or even a blueprint system because they want a step-by-step analysis of how to do something. LinkedIn right now, in my opinion, is a great place to add some personality, some storytelling. It was a very intellectual or blueprint type of platform, but it is changing and it now offers a lot more similar features to Facebook, for example. So you can actually Google the demographics of each of these platforms. I went on Facebook originally when it was actually popular with teens, so I'm really aging myself, but I worked with a youth group at the time and that was a great place to connect with them. I didn't fit the demographic then, but quickly changed to embrace the demographic of middle-aged women on Facebook, and those kids scrambled off somewhere else. So, TikTok, pardon me, is the same right now. It was typically for younger people, but many business owners now use it to create these fun, engaging videos for their work. So, with TikTok in mind and talking about video, that's actually a point that I want to make, is that storytelling can be done in video as well as in written form. So, maybe YouTube makes sense to you, or maybe TikTok makes sense to your business. So whether spoken or written, you still need a well-written script to tell a good story. So be sure that your method of communicating works with the platform that you're on, and be sure that that platform is where your client is. And now I just wanted to give you a couple of samples of storytelling. So no one wants you to save them. People want to feel like they have solved their own problems. So good storytelling makes them the hero. So here's some examples that are going to help with starting off some of the ideas for a story library that you could start to build. So let's share a client success story. So this can illustrate competence for a business owner. So let's go back to that mechanic from the garage. He could put out a post that said something like, Joe came into my shop with a terrible engine knock in his brand new BMW. A quick assessment, and I discovered that it had regular gas in the tank, but he had a diesel engine. I flushed it out. I added some compound for repair, and he was on his way home to then question his son about his use of the car the day before. He was wise to come to me so quickly because his engine would have been ruined in a short time. So although Joe is telling you what he did to fix the problem, he's the mechanic he's commenting that Joe solved his own problem by being knowledgeable enough to bring it in. So another example is you could share a failure. So this shares your vulnerability. So again, as a mechanic, he could say something like, when I first started out, my first job was in a shop where the owner seemed pretty close to retirement. I thought it would be an easy way to take over his business, showing him how fast and knowledgeable I was. I could run circles around this guy, and I thought my first review would come with flying colors. He sat me down and told me that his clients felt rushed and that I was impersonal. His clients, many of whom were older and had supported his business for decades, enjoyed the banter, updates on family, a cup of hot coffee. So that taught me that business is about so much more than competence. My hot coffee and my family-friendly waiting room attest to that lesson. And then the last one, and this is such a simple one, to take an inspiring quote, something that has meaning to you, and turn that into a story. So you could take a quote like this. If you can't stop thinking about it, never stop working for it. So the mechanic could say, I dreamed of owning my own garage when I was 6 years old, and I propped up my little Tykes plastic car on some bricks in my dad's garage, and I had a look under the hood. It took me a long time to learn what was under the hood of a real car, but I held wrenches and flashlights and watched intently when my dad and my grandfather worked on their cars when I was a boy. Through my teen years, I purposely bought different makes of old cars to fix them up so I could learn all about them. I continue to learn about new features like electric vehicles now, so I can provide the best service for you. So those are just a couple of examples of how storytelling can be used, but I do encourage you to start with your own story. And this and so much more is available to you in the Business Storytelling Basics course that I offer. It includes 5 units with worksheets for you to develop these basic steps in storytelling and communication to better connect with your ideal client and then close those sales. For only $67 Canadian, you have access to this content for life. And it's often good to revisit things like this when you have a change in career, or you're launching a new product, or you have a new marketing campaign. Your values will stay the same, but your stories might change. So along with this course, you actually get these 3 other bonuses. So you get your bank personality code. Understanding yourself even better helps you then better understand others. You get the My Story Bio course. It's another evergreen course that helps you unlock your story. There's a video lesson and a worksheet with that one too. And my latest 5-day social media storytelling challenge. So beginning August 14th and running live in an interactive Facebook group each day at noon, you will find value far beyond those first 5 days. So cheers to LaDonna and the event today, and I hope to share some stories with all of you.
Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you. That was wonderful. I found so many great ideas in everything that Helen was saying today. And that made happy hour even more abundance, more important for us all as entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever it is that we are doing. We can achieve more knowing the knowledge that she just gave us. Some of it we may have known. I knew some, but you know what? It gave me a refresher on the things that I already knew. And even more, I think it's like, oh, I already do that. Oh, I do that. Yay me, pat me on the back. But some of it I'm like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. So let's hear some feedback from you guys. Joe, what did you pick up from Helen? What was your favorite today?
Oops.
There you go. We can hear you.
So, oh my God, I gotta leave this thing alone. Okay. I'm minimizing my screen. So I took one of her courses, her workshops, and it was, matter of fact, I've never done my story at all, like out loud. And I put it on Facebook, and she actually said to me, do you know how many responses you got from that? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm mesmerized by storytelling. But I have to do my bio for Thursday, which totally blows my mind. Something as little as that, you know what I mean? But I can do something real big. But yeah.
But you know, Joe, that tells me that you're up to the challenge. You know you can do it. It's just getting your mind wrapped around the idea of doing a bio. But I'm so glad that I asked for that, because it's going to help you in so many other situations. You're already going to have it done, and you're not going to have to stress about it. And it could be small. And then later you can grow upon it and grow upon it, because, I remember the first time I had to do a bio, it scared me. And then I had to do a bio as an author, and it scared me even more because it had to be so much longer. And then so many people want it short, middle, that many words at a certain, and it just, wrapping my head around it sometimes is all it takes. But you know what? We go back to change, that COVID made us change earlier. We talked about that, and it's all about change. And I always say this, and I don't know, you may have already heard it, but I want you to think of change like this. If we would have never changed outhouses, we would still be using outhouses today. Now, what a great change we went through on that. I mean, it's true though. It's true. Change is good, but that doesn't mean we're ready for it. That doesn't mean that we want to wrap our heads around it. So keep that in mind.
I just wanted to say,
yes.
If I could, Joe, I just want to encourage you, don't think of it as a bio. Just tell a story. Just tell your story. That's all you need to do.
There you go.
Okay.
Great. That's a great idea. Dar, did you pick up anything that you want to share with us today?
I've never actually written a bio. I've been asked to do one a couple of times, like a what do you call it, those vision boards and stuff like that. And every time I go to do it, I sit there with a pen and paper in hand and I draw nothing but blanks. So, and I think that mostly is because of how my health has been the last few years. And really, I wouldn't know what to put on it now.
Well, you know what, Dar, we are going to have to get you challenged on that. We're going to have to get you to do that.
I knew you were going to say that.
You're in a room full of friends and entrepreneurs that want to prosper with you. So no judging. It's just, we're here. Brenda, I know you came in a little late, but did you pick up on something that you want to say about what Helen had to say today?
Well, I'm somewhat familiar with the bank codes, so I was able to follow what Helen was talking about with the codes. I think the part that I picked up was the different, like when you were talking about YouTube and the different which personalities you would find the most on which platforms. That really stood out to me because I've never really thought of it that way before. And I guess if I did think about it, I was a little surprised by what you were saying about LinkedIn, because I would have thought that LinkedIn was the home of Blueprint. But I'm glad to know that it is more flexible than that, because
it's definitely changing. I would say you're still going to find a strong presence of Blueprints there, but what I was indicating is I think it would be a great time to go in and offer storytelling and offer a little more charisma, because it's on the verge of kind of changing into something a little more exciting.
So would that mean that we need to be, I guess, thoughtful of the different codes when we're doing posts, when we're doing introductions, when we're creating our profile?
I certainly would say so. Yeah.
That's awesome. Woo, that was a lot right there, what you just said, Brenda. That was a lot to pick up, and then Helen was able to expand on that. That's awesome. Cheryl, I know you came in a little late, but did you come in and find something that really interested you?
Yeah, the one thing that kind of stuck out is when she said, make the other person feel like they gave the solution. Even though, I mean, overall in the big picture, you are solving the bigger problem, but they kind of, they partnered with you. You know, this is, for lack of a better word, that's how I interpret it. They're partnering with you. So there's more of investment on person, from that person's perspective.
Definitely. It's that idea of, you know, watching someone talk about themselves all the time. You can only do that for so long because that's their journey. You're in your own journey and you want to be your own hero. And so that's really important piece to make, not to show yourself as a rescuer, because people will tire of that pretty quickly because they want to think that they're smart enough to do their own thing and you're going to help them do it.
Awesome. Awesome. And Abby, did you pick up on anything that you would like to adventure on? Oh, we can't hear.
Basically,
There you go.
I have to agree with Brenda. You know, and I really can't put more to it than just to agree with her.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So what, Helen, I have a question for you. What, you brought up all these platforms and what to do with them and social media. So where do you find that you spend most of your time in your storytelling? Which one? Which social media?
It's a bit of a mix between Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, just because I've been on there for so long. I have like an audience there. But Instagram is certainly one that's, how would I phrase it? A little bit more conducive to the idea of storytelling because of the reels and the lives and the things like that that you can do in Instagram. I'm also moving more into LinkedIn. I'm a little bit off and on. I have to get a little more consistent with that. But I know that there's a good client base there for me on LinkedIn as well. But I would say primarily right now, still Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. All right. I know for me, I have the biggest audience in Facebook, but it seems like I get, like, if someone does connect with me in LinkedIn, they connect with me. They don't reschedule. They don't do the no shows. They really connect with me. We have a good talk. With Facebook, sometimes I get the no shows. I get the, I hate to say they're not serious because I want to think every entrepreneur, every business owner is serious, but you know, maybe some are not as serious as what others are. But it seems like when I do get an appointment with LinkedIn, it does stick and it's a good conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't call it seriousness. I would call it maybe less professionalism on Facebook than what you would find on LinkedIn.
I love that word. I like that word much better. Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing is Instagram has been a struggle for me. I just can't get people to really connect with me on Instagram. And obviously there's something I need to do more. And I hear a lot of people, that is their main social media is Instagram, but I just haven't gotten it. Now my TikTok is picking up. Don't know why, but it is. I think maybe some of the kids are moving off to other things, is what my daughters and my teenage grandchildren are telling me. They're doing other things. They're not really sticking around on TikTok as much as what they used to. Do you hear that, Helen, about TikTok?
Definitely. I know, well, it kind of makes me sad, but I hear that younger kids are going to platforms more like Snapchat because then the content doesn't stay there. And I think there's, they're also, I think younger kids tend to want to go on to the next new thing. So something else is going to come out. They're going to try that. If they start seeing adults on TikTok, they're not going to want to be on TikTok anymore. Like that's just what happens, right?
Yes. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what my family has been telling me. It's Snapchat. And so that's you know, another thing.
That one scares me.
I know it really does. And I always but you know, one of them 17 and the other two are 15. It's really hard to control their social media because they have this thing in their hand all the time that, you know, you don't want to send them without it because you worry about them if they don't have these crazy contraptions with them. I don't know how I ever survived as a teenager. I never had these, you know. It was a payphone, right? Everyone remembers
Yes.
a payphone. If I was
Yeah, they
gonna
don't
be
have
late-
those anymore though. When was the last time
No.
you saw a payphone?
Oh, no, absolutely not. So Joe, where is your place that you get the most out of your social media?
Facebook, for sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I have a VIP group and it started with one person and it's now up to 232. So yeah, my goal is to grow that. But I do a lot. I do more on Facebook because Facebook has stories too. And even though the stories don't stay, I get a lot of people looking at those.
Awesome. Awesome. And how about you, Brenda? Where do you spend most of your time on social media?
I think it's divided between Facebook and LinkedIn, but it is getting the increases on the LinkedIn side.
Okay, good, good. How
And
about you, Dar? Oh, I'm sorry, Brenda, go ahead.
My VA is currently taking care of my Instagram. So I'm working on increasing my Instagram presence, but I found my VA helping me with it because she's much more versed in it than I am.
And you know what? You make a good point. My TikTok is improving, but it's not because I'm doing my TikTok. It's because I have a young VA doing my TikTok. Now I give her the information that I want her to use, but before I reached out and found her, and I literally, when I was looking, I wanted someone with you because I felt like I was missing out if I wasn't on TikTok. Am I missing out? I don't know. You never know where your leads come from sometimes. They just get there. But what I do know is you have to be visual everywhere. Everywhere you need to be visual. Dar, is there a certain platform that you like to be on? And Abby, you may want to help her with that. I don't know.
Well, I've mostly been on Facebook, and I agree with you, LaDonna, about how I'm not getting LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm not getting Instagram either. And oftentimes I chat with my mom, and there'll be a message from her on Facebook and another message from her on from Instagram. And I'm like, what the heck? How is this integrating? And it just goes right over my head.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of just staying with Facebook, and I'm just trying to learn about LinkedIn as well. As I just posted about how I found that I would use LinkedIn years ago when I was job searching. And I just found it to be the biggest useless tool in the world ever created. And this was before they added the chat, the ability to chat. So I deleted it, never went back to it until recently. Abby said, oh, I've been chatting with so-and-so on LinkedIn. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of
so
good
it's,
stuff on LinkedIn.
yes.
A lot of good stuff. And how about you, Abby?
Well, I'm primarily Facebook, but Instagram and LinkedIn, and I'm a viewer of TikTok because I find it very educational for my tech business. But the terminology of less professional, I find that on both Facebook and LinkedIn. So I'm very happy to have my most trusted on LinkedIn now to reduce the LinkedIn less professional people.
Yes, I have found that as well, Abby. That does help out. Yes. And Cheryl, what do you think of where do you spend most of your time? Which platform?
Because of the coaching program I'm in right now, I spend the majority of my time on Facebook, but it's not my favorite. And it's just the platform that she uses. I honestly feel that as a career and mindset coach, my audience will be more on LinkedIn. So I'm trying to just understand the basic techniques and finish up the program, and then I will be focusing more on LinkedIn.
And you know what, Cheryl, I think you could be correct about doing more on LinkedIn for your business. Yes, Cheryl and I have worked together a few times, and I have watched her grow a lot over the last few weeks. I will say, Cheryl, yes. She
Thank
was
you.
one that didn't like to get on and speak and do all the things and write, and she's done such a wonderful job. And I can see it, Cheryl. I can see it. I want to say
Thank you.
one more thing about Facebook is I hear a lot of people say, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. Woo! Well, guess what? So do I. But once I find that they are not buying, talking, connecting, networking, contributing to my business in some way, shape, or form, guess what? I don't need them. You have to know when to cut, because guess what? You can only have so many friends on Facebook, and you have to keep growing your friends list on Facebook, but they have to be of substance. They have to be important. And again, you have to find your own language of, oh my gosh, do I need to let that one go? But what if? Well, if they don't have a picture, if they're a lurker, if they've never responded to you, then probably don't need them. What do you think about that, Brenda?
Sorry, LaDonna, I just had to stick my hand up for this one. I agree with everything that you're saying. One of the things, so I don't friend people unless we've met at least once. And it doesn't have to be an in-person meeting, but it can, I'm happy with a Zoom meeting. But if it's a Zoom meeting, it's got to be a Zoom one-to-one. Like, you ladies in this room are all lovely ladies, and I've met with almost all of you on a one-to-one at least once. For heaven's sakes, Joe helped me to measure every inch of my body to get my bra to fit me properly. And so, yes, Joe and I are definitely friends. And Abby and Dar, I was at their wedding, and they've helped me. Abby has helped me with all of my computer challenges, and Helen and I have met a number of different issues. So I guess, Cheryl, you're the one that I don't know so well yet. So we should probably book one-to-one. But once I know you, once we've spent a little bit of time together, and I'm not saying that a one-to-one makes you friends, right? A one-to-one doesn't make you immediately friends. For some people, it will bring it closer. I don't think it makes you immediately friends, but a one-to-one will definitely show you if you have something in common. And I'm not going to friend somebody I have nothing in common with. Back when I was meeting people in person, I didn't have repeated coffees with people I had nothing in common with. So why would I establish them as friends on my Facebook or on my LinkedIn?
See, that was brilliant. I never thought about that, Brenda. So there we go. It's all, that's why I want happy hour. I want it to be more of a group where we can really talk, where we can really iron out some thoughts and learn from each other. Helen, what did you think about what me and Brenda just said about that?
Oh, absolutely. I every day get, message requests from some guy in the military who's stationed overseas or whatever, and I get requests from people who maybe see my name in another networking group or something, and they send me a friend request. And I don't think I'm quite as strict as Brenda, but I'm leaning more towards that if we have something in common, if we're, in a joint group together or something, I would tend to say yes. But definitely I would like to have a conversation with you. And if I don't have a conversation with you after some amount of time, you're probably not in there anymore.
And
Yeah.
you know what? And that's nothing bad, because some people will make you cringe. You just know one conversation, it's not going to happen. Joe has
Yeah.
something to say?
Well, I will say this, Facebook only allows you 5,000 friends too. So
Right.
once, like I'm at 4,000 something right now, but I'm in a lot of networking groups. I'm in, you know, the women's group that I belong to. And so the one thing I will say is if someone friend requests me and they have no friends, or if they only have one friend or two friends, they don't get my exception. Okay. If I get someone who's in any of my groups, but I've not necessarily met with them yet, I will reach out to them and I will ask them, how do we know each other? Because obviously, you know, I try to do my research first before I even literally accept it. But I will say this, what really is irking me lately on Facebook is these men like going into my private group and literally commenting on my posts and commenting like, oh, you're such a beautiful woman, blah, 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 blah. And not just mine. I'm talking my members that respond to my post. And I'm literally going and blocking and deleting and blocking and deleting. And I can't believe Facebook cannot do anything about that.
I agree. And you know what? That brings up a good point. Why can't they? Because I don't know how many times I've been in Facebook jail for doing something that I have no idea what I've done, you know, commenting too fast or sending out too many posts. I need to slow down.
Yeah, I can't believe that they can't stop that from happening. I mean, my group is I have a private group. Like you can't go in there unless you're invited. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm just wondering is how they even get in there.
I don't have no idea.
Yeah, because commenting on a public post is quite different. I
Yeah,
know
no,
I had
it's
a
my-
tip.
it's a
I had
group.
a tip from someone who's a Facebook pro, and she suggested that when you share on your personal timeline on Facebook, you only share to friends. You don't share publicly. And that actually helps kind of buffer you from the crazy world out there. It's like it still happens, but it's not as bad as it was.
Good point. Good point. All right, ladies, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here tonight. I believe we had a great conversations, I should say, because I think there were many. Helen did an awesome job, but you know what? Each and every one of you spoke up and said something about something that was important for you, that you learned, or great ideas that Helen shared with us. I would love for you to take a screenshot of yourself or even all of us. Please go put it on your personal page. Go to our private membership page for Networking Expert and Millionaire Marketplace. Share it in there because as you can see, all of our members are not here. Also, remember, we do have an affiliate link now in our membership portal. So if you go and click affiliate, sign up to be an affiliate, you will make money every time you bring someone to our members group. Right now, we're only doing $20.23. I wonder how I came up with that number. 2023. And it's going to be going on for all of the month of August. Now, if you come to me and say, can someone come for free for just one time? Of course. We're here to build an environment where everyone can build and prosper together. And the only reason I'm even charging the $20.23 because I want commitment. That's all I'm asking for, a commitment that you will join. I don't expect everyone to join in every event. I know our schedules don't allow that, but come when you can. Share it with your family and friends to come in and learn something, sell something, share an event with them, whatever it is that we're doing. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be having coffee time. It will be different. We have all of our events will be different but similar. We have Phyllis. Arnstein. I'm sure that majority of you have met her. I don't know for sure if Cheryl has or not. But Phyllis will be coming on and showing us how debt can interfere with not just our family, our home, but also in our business. Because you know what? If you're not running your family right, if something is bothering you there, guess what? It's going to bother you business-like, because it's both of its mindset. So, and let me tell you, where there's a money challenge, there's always a worry in the back of our head. No matter how big I smile, no matter how, much I laugh, I still have to think about my septic system went out. Have you guys noticed? My septic system went out in my home on Sunday. But could you tell that by being with me this morning or tonight? No, because it could have been worse. Sorry, it's about being at home. It's all about the mindset, what you do, how you think. But guess what? Instead of $1,500, it only cost me $600. So there you go. Yay me. Pat myself on the back. I figured it out. But still, it's all about the mindset, how you wrap your mind around it. So always know that someone else is having a worse day than my septic system. So, all right, we are out of here. Please post on your social media, post on our membership group. And I'm sorry for my fur friends today. Something's going on, probably a squirrel. See you next time, and remember coffee time tomorrow. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thanks, LaDonna.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night.